Hey, Maurice, I appreciate you very much for, taking the time to hop on a call with me and talk about your experience with NAS.
Yeah, my pleasure, Lennon. Glad to see you again.
Yeah, yeah, it's always a pleasure. Okay, brother. So, um, can you tell me what did you do before joining NAS? What were you up to?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had a pretty wild ride the past, I guess now 4 years. So about a about 2 years before I joined NAS, I was a regional manager for a car battery startup. Best
Okay.
job I ever had to that point. But the CEO in that company made a lot of wrong moves. So that company basically, crashed and burned to the ground, and I went from best job I ever had to unemployed, living in Texas. Didn't know what my next move was going to be, so um, I was looking for other opportunities, and luckily I
Hmm.
had a friend who lived in Arizona, and she got me a temporary job, which allowed me to actually move from Texas to Arizona, and I was working in sales at a health food store, so at a health and supplement store. But it was a good job, but like it wasn't a career. It wasn't going to get me to those next steps. So I started looking for ways that I could start working remotely, things I could do to really progress in my life. And around that time that I was looking for that, that's when I started to see some of those ads that Bastion started to put on Instagram.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I started seeing them a lot, and it seemed I saw his story, and his story was basically that he was working at a grocery store, and he went from that to 6 months later, his life being transformed. And I said, that's what I need, and this looks legit. So started looking into NAS. I booked a call, and just really liked what I saw there, and decided to take the plunge. So I joined the NAS program, and at first, I mean, it was very difficult for me because I feel like I didn't have the best mentality. Like, we all want things, but it's hard to, how would I say, it's hard to actually put in the work for the things we say we want, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like the NAS program really helped give me that structure to going from nothing to, you know, A+ player. And a lot of that I would say was the guidance from um, some of my friends and the guidance from my client management. How do you say that? Success manager, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. And you
Yeah,
made your friends on NAS or friends from outside?
from NAS actually. So my friend Josephine was basically like my unpaid counselor when things got hard, and then my buddy Frankie Ortega just really helped to encourage me and raise the standard when we were going through the program together. So made some lifelong friends from NAS.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. That's amazing
Yeah.
to hear. Cool. So after going through the program and getting, certified and all that kind of thing, how has the journey been so far for you? Can you walk us through like your first placement, then what happened, and then where you are at now?
Yeah, definitely. It was a very, again, very like unexpected turn of events, but very positive ones. So I graduated from NAS, and I do want to say it wasn't just Josephine and Frankie. DJ and Sylvia were like huge helps to me. Like Sylvia really, really helped me to master that mental mindset part of it. Um, and so yeah, I mean, like I feel like I had mindset shifts as I was going through the program, which helped
Yeah,
me put those uh, put those strategies in place for when I graduated. And so when I graduated, I started looking for opportunities, but I wasn't really sure what sort of niche I wanted to get into. So
hmm,
I did some niche research, and as I was doing that, I actually reached out to an influencer whose name is Andy Elliott, just looking for sales training. I wanted to get better on the phone as well. I know NAS was a DM setting, but I figured, sales helps you in all realms.
yeah,
So I reached out to Andy Elliott's team, and one of his main guys, Danny Klein, he reached back out to me, and I was just looking, literally, I was looking for information. I was just looking for maybe a program, not a program, but like just information, some tips or something. And I explained to him my journey with NAS, and I explained to him what NAS was about. And he really, really liked that. So he actually connected me to a business owner just from that quick conversation I had with him. And that business owner gave me an opportunity because he trusted in what I was about, and he could tell like that I knew what I was talking about, and I could walk the walk from what I went through with NAS. And so I got a job working in solar, doing virtual setting in a solar gig. I did that for a couple of months and did okay, but to be honest, I just wasn't really excited about solar. So it's, I mean, you
Mhm.
can make a lot of money doing that, right?
Right.
And so I was looking for something that aligned more with just who I am, or where I want to go. And at my so during this whole time, I was still working at that health food store, right? And at the health food store, there was a customer that would walk in, and I'd always have conversations with him. Well, it turns out that this customer was a sales guy, and he did appointment setting and closing. And so
Nice.
I told him about NAS. I told him what I went through, my training, mindset shifts, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of months after that, he reached out to me to give me a job opportunity to work with him on a tax strategy and real estate offer. And that's what I've been doing since, I would say, January of this year. So,
Nice.
so now I've been doing that, and it's honestly been the best job I've ever had.
Right, right. That's cool. And can you like share with us, not necessarily how much you're making, but perhaps some hints on how your income changed from the first opportunity you had and this new opportunity that you have right now?
Yeah, so on the first opportunity, it was almost almost no base. So that's why work I had to do the opportunity during nights or mornings on top of my full-time job at the health food store. And so it was, if I remember correctly, maybe 4 to 5% commission,
Mhm.
and it was just cold calling, cold dialing all the time. And this offer, I have a larger base. I have about 2 to 3K base, and I get paid for every set that I set. About 300 to 400 bucks, depending on the type of offer it is. And the great thing about it too is that a lot of the sets, it's not just cold calling, it comes from the marketing team and organic inbounds. So I get to do it all. I get to do the cold calling. I get to deal with warm leads, cold leads. So I feel like it's really helping show up my skill base on all ends. And the team is great. Like the team, we have a closer, we have two setters, and we talk with the company owner, the business owner, the marketing guys, the tech guys. So it's almost like a mini education in how building a successful business is done.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So basically, you did all this by networking, by being authentic, by creating connections with people, and just letting them know your story. That was it, right?
Absolutely. Like um, that's a big part of like my life philosophy, if you want to call it that. I feel like people I feel like if you're open and you prepare, like if preparation plus skill, right? But
Right.
I feel like if you're prepared and you make connection with people, you never know who you're talking to. Like, and people are like doors. Like if you open the right door, you don't even you don't know where that can take you. And some of the best times in my life and times that my life has changed the most have been by taking that step out, and making a connection with someone, and then from that connection, all these other doors open for me. And not trying to get something out of them, just being genuinely curious about someone else, wanting to share a bit about myself, wanting to learn more about them, and and that's really how I've made the best connections. Like
Hmm.
I made that connection. I reached out to Andy Elliott's team who I didn't even know, but because on my end I was genuine and I connected with the person on the other line, and they were a very generous person. They put themselves on the line for me and gave me an opportunity to work at a company that where you could be possibly making, eventually like 20K a month. So
Hmm.
like even my mindset at the time, I couldn't even believe that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean that I would say being open to people and being willing to put yourself out there, like can open more doors and lead you places where you never thought you could be. Like me 3 years ago when I was going through NAS, I never thought I'd be where I am right now.
Yeah. Quick question. I know it's you need to think about this, but
Yeah,
what would have happened if you didn't make the decision of joining NAS? Where would you be right now?
I would still be. So I'm 31, right? So I would still be at the health food store, and I would be okay at that health food store, right? I worked with someone who was 44, and he's a great guy. He's one of the smartest guys there, but it just kind of seems like life kind of passed him by, sort of thing. And the more time went on, I've had ideas and dreams of entrepreneurship since I was 17, always looking for a way to do it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't putting in the real time and effort that it would take. So I wanted this thing, but I wasn't putting the effort that it really took. So I was kind of like lying to myself, right? And then feeling bad that nothing's changing. And so when I saw the opportunity for NAS, I'm like, I need to make a change. Like I need to invest in myself because if I don't change anything, like I'm gonna be stuck where I am for 10 plus years and I'm gonna be that guy and like hating my life. So I I took the I took the leap with NAS. And even taking the leap with NAS, it was hard. Like I really did need the support of like Sylvia. She helped me, like I said, Josephine. And and really what it was too was that I made the decision to no matter what happens to finish it and not quit. And I think that's what really helped to get me through it.
Awesome. Love that. Now, what would you say to someone that's, perhaps in the exact same situation and it's feeling or thinking the same way? What would you recommend to them? What would be your advice?
My advice would be that like the best things that have ever happened to me have been a combination of me taking a risk, me investing in myself, and me making the decision uh, to make it work no matter what happens. Because I think that when you put yourself in that mentality, you put your back against the wall and you don't give yourself an out. And so even if it doesn't happen in the time frame that you're thinking, it will happen and it will change you as a person and it will make you mentally tougher so that whenever another opportunity or whatever opportunity arises, you actually are prepared. You rise up to that standard and you're the type of person that actually, I don't want to say deserves, but in a way kind of deserves that opportunity. And so you
Hmm.
won't be feeling like this imposter syndrome once you get it. So doing that and being open to communicating with people and being vulnerable and saying like, hey, I need help. People want to help other people, right? It's just us and our ego and pride that we don't want to ask for help. But if you put in the work and you ask for help, you never know what sort of opportunities can come your way.
Yeah, love it. Amazing. And final question. Would you recommend anyone that's watching this video to join NAS? If so, why?
I would, I would, and I would recommend it because the community is truly a a community that supports one another. It's a community that if with anything, right? Like if you don't participate, like you get in what you put in as well. If you don't participate in any community, you won't get anything out of it. But
Yeah.
it's set up in a way that it's there. to help people. Like you get accountability, success managers that really do care about you, check in on you, you can communicate with the other students, ask questions, support one another. Like a lot of my help came from other students and talking to them, and even chatting before and after our practice scripts in the community. And just the NASH program is really, it's really built in a way to support you from A to Z. You know, like it teaches you the skills, it teaches you how to network, it gives you the opportunity to connect with other people in the same situation with you, and it gives you coaches and a support structure that will help you tweak where you're going wrong. So it's, I would say it's the accountability, and I'm sure people say that all the time to the point where it's just like the words lose meaning. But true accountability and true support, um, that's like half of the battle for me. Like that's where those mindset shifts happen. Like if I wouldn't have talked with these other students and shared my frustrations, and if I wouldn't have reached out to Sylvia and to the coaches for help, then you don't know what you don't know. So like I would have just been stuck in the same mentality. And I think that by doing that, it helped force me to shine a light on my weak spots, address them, and rise to that standard of finishing the course and becoming, like they say, an A plus setter and an A plus just team member person at the end of the day.
Mhm. Love it. Love it. All right. All right. Appreciate you, Maurice, for, taking the time to hop on a call with me to share your thoughts. I believe that anyone watching at this video is really going to become motivated based off of your story and what you have shared. Thank you for, all the knowledge and all the advice